Thanks, Tara. Now, structured activities are taking over our kids' lives and often lead to fatigued kids and stressed out families. Freeing up your child's schedule to allow for free time can benefit everyone. And psychologist McCormack is here to tell us more. Hi, Sally.
Welcome. Hi. How you going?
So, how much scheduling is overscheduling?
Look, I think a definition of hyper-parenting, which is the buzzword used in America, is 3 or more scheduled activities a week. In my house, we had a rule about you could have 1 music and 1 sport every week. And consider, like, the fact I've got 4 children. Imagine the amount of driving that I would have done if they all have done all the things that they chose to do. So we really have to keep in mind that our children, you know, spending time with our children is really important, and not just driving them around.
Becoming a taxi service, basically.
And doing nothing with our kids is okay, isn't it?
Yeah, it absolutely is. One of the things I think, and we were just saying before in the break, that often it's driven by guilt. You know, parents often feel guilty, but sometimes they actually, there's some other reasons as well. Sometimes they want their children to be safe and, you know, keep them out of mischief. There's that old phrase, what is it, the...
Idle hands
did the devil's work. Thank you. I was trying to think of that. I was looking at that beforehand. I knew I'd mess up that phrase. But that people really believe that too. And I think that, you know, one of the things we just saw in the news break, those billy carts. How do you learn to do that? There's not actually lessons, or there are actually. You know, don't schedule them for lessons. Sorry, guys. Don't schedule them for lessons for those things, but let them have bits of timber and wheels.
And, get out in the shed and muck around.
Because scheduling things means that we lose creativity, we lose the ability to, you know, bring things together. And a recent study, I seem to be talking a lot today, but a recent study, an Australian study showed that nearly half of 8 to 12-year-old children don't play every day. How sad. I was really saddened when I read that.
I see this around Christmas time and holiday time. We rip kids out of their environment. We spend some time at home, then take them to somewhere else. Where I think children want to be around their stuff a bit more, in their room.
And to spend time with parents too. Look, we do it for the right reasons. As you said about guilt, you know, we want them to, you know, learn how to ride their horses and to, you know, to do all these wonderful things and learn languages. People are enrolling their children as young as 15 months into language classes, by the way.
That's mental.
It's just, and they do it because they want their children to get ahead. But we need to actually take some time. I was thinking about that coming here. My children, if I had have done as many of those scheduled activities as other parents do, my children would be really familiar with the back of my head in the car, because that's all that they'd ever see.
Sally, and I want to ask you though, is a lot of it about, you know how people describe society as fracturing? Like the dad who could have made the billy cart years ago, he might be an accountant, he might not even own a hammer. So a lot of the parenting stuff that we take for granted from an old-fashioned time, we're no longer capable of doing those things, so we sort of want to outsource it to people who are capable.
And I think it's really not even about teaching them how to do things. I was just saying before, I watched a clip of an experiment in a playground with, they placed lots of bits of material and rope and chalk and lots of exciting things in the playground, and they let the children go out to play. They stood in the playground, they did not know what to do. And that's the sad thing. Even if you don't have, you know, buy a hammer.
And just to explain that, you meant they weren't used to independent play.
They were
used to people doing things and structuring things around them.
Activities, yes, and to actually make something themselves was quite foreign to them.
I think one of the greatest gifts that my parents gave me was the time to dream. And I don't think we give kids the time to just dream, and it's okay to be bored, because would you agree that from boredom, creativity thrives?
Absolutely. That's where those billy carts came from in the news segment. It's all about thinking things through and playing around with things. Some of what we need to remember as parents is to limit our children. We need to make sure that even if they drive it, you know, we say that, oh no, my child wants to do that. We tell them to engage in lots of activities. You know, we need to say, no, I'm sorry, that's actually too many. We need to set limits. We need to schedule family downtime. We need to make sure that we demonstrate having time off. You know, what do we do in our time? Don't let that be technology. Don't let them just turn to the television and the computer. Let them actually get bored. Dealing with boredom is a skill. Like it really is a skill that we need to learn to deal with, and that's
Lego.
and we need to. It's important for us to give our children that opportunity.
So in short, schedule some unscheduled time. Would you please thank Sally McCormack?